Welcome to Shorty SuperCoach. What's happening, guys? How are we? Boom. SuperCoach is open to everybody. I know some of us have dipped in the pocket and got the old gold subscription. But hey, it is open to everybody now. So that normally kickstarts the real heavy season for SuperCoach vibes. We start to get some footy really rolling now. Once February comes around, sort of cricket and tennis, bit done and dusted. Footy really comes into the swing of things, and as does fantasy right about now. So, yeah, today I'm just going to take a look at my team and just sort of do a bit of a SuperCoach live kind of selection. I've got my team there already. I did a video on this maybe a few weeks ago. There's a few minor changes, but I'm just going to have a play around with it, a bit of a ramble. There's no real structure to this one, so I'm pretty much just going to walk you through how my team looks at the moment, and then just throw around a few different combinations and just run with it on the roll. Just go with it. So see where we end up. But yeah, I think Shorty's on the old TikTok. If that floats anyone's boat, not pushing it down your throat, but if that is your vibe, feel free. Hey, what is this? What is this? I have logged in. There we are. But yeah, I was at tennis the other day. Oh, what the fuck are we doing here, man? Sorry about that. Just a few technical difficulties, which we're well accustomed to here at Shorty SuperCoach. But we are underway now. Just had to log into my team, remember a couple of passwords, etc. But yeah, I was talking to the fellas at tennis the other day, and I'll get into my team in a moment, but I just wanted to get your thoughts out there. We were talking the best flavour of shapes. Now, I thought this was relatively clear cut, but we got a few different points of view. I'm a barbecue guy. It's plain and simple for me. There's really daylight between second. Don't mind the old pizza shape. But look, don't even mind that in a biscuit, a little Dixie drumstick. Don't mind that either. But look, some of the fellas threw out. Definitely pizza. Nacho got thrown out there. So let me know. Let me know what your favourite shapes flavour is, or even the ones that are a disgrace that should not be in the contention for any sort of shapes flavour. But I do like to just get your thoughts out there on a couple of things other than football and SuperCoach. But hey, let's dive into it. A bit of random SuperCoach style. So this is my team at the moment. A few small changes. I wouldn't get too hung up on the rookies. I wouldn't get too hung up on the team just yet. It's not even February, but this is how we're looking. Very light on in the backline. I might have a play around with that today. I absolutely hate how we've still got 36 trades. Absolutely way too many. They brought that in through COVID and that type of thing. They have to condense the trades. I absolutely hate it. It makes it... I don't know. It takes away the real skill of trading and weighing up the decision. Do I hold? Do I trade? More often than not, you should just always trade because we've got a shitload of them. So I wish they dropped it down to 30 or 32. Far out. Back in the day, we had 20 trades to work with. They were like absolute gold. You'd have to ride the ebbs and flows. It was an art. Took some skill. But anyway, that's a shorty rant over. But yeah, that's my team. Got some... Mitchell and Green, they're a bit, they could be 110 for different reasons. Can Mitchell refine that form? Can Green find his form for the first time ever in that sort of 110 mark? He's played some great footy, but can he do it? Take his game to the next level? Mitchell will be looking to get back to it. And a pretty beefed up forward line. So, look, that is where we are at the moment. And look, I've got Hopper in there. At M6 as well. I just think if he has a good pre-season, he's averaged 90 plus comfortably multiple times. There's no reason he can't get fit, new opportunities, and have a career best year. So he could average mid to high 90s. But Darcy Cameron's the other one that could easily fit in to the ruck department or forward. Ben Cunnington, Taron Thomas. I know he's probably in the headlines for a couple of not so good reasons as well, but I mean, if he gets his off-field right and that type of thing, he can play footy, and off half-back definitely could be a real good option. Gee whiz, we are slowly getting through this video. I was just talking about Taron Thomas, and when you just feel a sneeze coming on, I was like, Jesus Christ, if he gets his form back, holy shit, and then just couldn't hold it in, guys, but we're back. So yeah, look, just a few guys I'm thinking about Thomas, Cunnington, beefing up the back line. You got Hopper in there, you've got Cooper Stevens in there, you've got Darcy Cameron. So let's just have a play around with it, and let's sort of talk about it in the way of let's improve this back line. I mean, Hunter Clark, I really do think the kid can play, but that's clearly the most on a hunch selection in my team at the moment, and we've definitely got to see some pre-season stuff. Let's just say, for fun's sake, let's just take out Butters just to loosen things up. You got Cameron at 465, Cunnington at 419. Let's just go Cunnington because, look, if he can get fit and healthy, I mean, the bloke just scores. I know North Melbourne are going through a bit of a changeover in bringing the youth through, but you can't put all the youth in the midfield. You need that big body. So what are we sort of aiming for? I mean, I think Hunter Clark would be the one clearly I would beef up. So I've got 428 to work with. That ain't going to give me much. Who am I sort of aiming for? I mean, of course, it'd be great if we could just smack James Sicily in there or Jackie Sinclair, but I might not be able to reach that far without really throwing my team in all sorts of directions. I think Himmelberg, if he keeps that same role, he's got to be considered because that is unders for him because he did have some, different style of games. And last we can see the percent of ownership. That's always interesting. Yeah, Dacos maybe not as unique as I thought. Dawson pretty popular. Yeah, even Caleb Daniel I saw was playing some midfield time. Hayden Young, you've got to think, is going to take some serious kick in. So I think we're going to aim for Himmelberg or Young. So I probably got to free up 70 or 80k more. So we'll keep Clark in there for the moment. Oh, Jordan Clark. Gosh, there's some PTSD if I've ever seen it. So what are we going to do? How are we going to shake things up here? I mean, you could go Marshall down to Darcy Cameron. You could drop. I mean, I really like Cooper Stevens, but I mean, I had Cooper Stevens in like a week or so ago, and for an extra, 80k or something like that, you can go from a bloke that we think could average 80 plus, like a young Cooper Stevens, should get opportunity, to a guy like Hopper, who is going to give you 80 minimum, most likely 90. So I just couldn't justify that. I mean, you could just simply drop Gota down a little bit. I do like Marshall. I do like Rowan Marshall, I must admit. And I do like Gota, but I mean, at this point in time, I've got no idea if he's going to even play. So Marshall's at 506. So, that wouldn't even work. That only gives me 40k, so it wouldn't even work. So I might just play around with Joshy Gota, who I think could really cement himself in the best 22. But, there's really no point until we know. Who we got here? Charlie Dean, probably just a good chance to play some senior footy. I don't think there's anyone else. I mean, they're largely placeholders, these rookies, at this point in time. Gould, he's been forever thought about, hasn't he? So that gives us 181. What we need us to be about 500. It'll be close, 496. So we need, that's simple. That's nice and easy. I mean, I could trade out Jimby. I mean, I don't think Ed Allen will, he'd probably be doing well to break into that side. I think I can probably just, who's around? I might go another 117 just to make sure I've got that cash. I don't think anyone really jumps out at me. So let's just say, for fun and giggles, let's get in Boomer. And this should give us some options. Yeah, so it doesn't quite get us up to Young, but it does get us Himmelberg. So, And just to show you what I mean about Himmelberg, and I'm sure most of you are well and truly over it, but how are we going for time here? Oh, we're fucking flying. 5 more minutes. Last year, we obviously made the switch in position to go to half back, interceptor, lots of kicks, lots of good stuff. And that was after transitioning from a forward position, which was, he was struggling, hence the move. He was really never a scorer unless he bagged goals, which is often the way for those type of players. But look at this. Round 10, he gave us next to nothing for the first 10 rounds. Rebound 50s, it does look like he went down there. He had 4 of them in round 10, so he probably made that switch around that mark. But after that, 3 weeks in, he's hitting a 187 with 37 touches. And look at the kick-to-handball ratio. Beautiful stuff. And then he barely had a bad one, a 74, and that was about it. So I don't see any reason as to why they would change. Obviously, there's a lot of change happening at the Giants, but that does make the backline look a bit more confident. Having another premium in there, and all I've sacrificed is Butters for Cunnington. Will there be much different in scoring? Hard to say. And I sacrificed Goda for the moment, it's their placeholders, the rookies, but that is another potential option as to how the team could look. If I was sort of discussing structure and that, I've heard a bit of talk about, is the guns and rookies still the way to go? We've got so many trades. So, it's an interesting thought process. I do still think you go guns and rookies and you just transition as quickly as you can to all those guys being guns. But I always reckon if you can stuff enough premiums into your team without really sacrificing too many points, like I bat real deep in this midfield. Like Phillips will play, Ashcroft will play. That's great. It's probably just you got the 3 rookies along here. Do they throw in the odd 40, the odd 31 that really hurts you? And just a couple in the forward line. So there's really only 6 or probably only 5 spots in my team that I wouldn't expect an 80, which is pretty cool. Because even Phillips and Ashcroft, you'd be hopeful, particularly if Phillips has a good preseason. So I don't mind that. I don't mind watching and waiting, seeing what Clark does, but we'll just have another play around in a moment. Yeah, I'll just have a play around with maybe working in someone like maybe a Taron Thomas, maybe Darcy Cameron if I need to find an extra 40k. I love Marshall as an option, but King, Hayes, a few players have gone down. I think he'll still be the number 1 ruck. Whether he gets a bit more time forward, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, let's have a play around with that one now. Also, big shout out to the guys at AFL SuperCoach 360. I've posted this one on the page and love being a part of the team. So there'll be plenty of content throwing onto the channel there, or onto my channel, onto their page. So would absolutely love you to get around them as a page. Lots of good posts, lots of good content, good community there. So if you've found me from there, what's going on? Good to see you. But if you're a Shorty SuperCoach guy and you haven't checked them out, would love you to do that. So let me know how you got to this video. But Taron Thomas, like I said before, he's got a bit going on, but we know he can play footy, and it does look like he is taking a move to half back, which we know is a fantastic role to rack up some SuperCoach points. So let's just throw him in there at F4, and in theory, he's a bargain at that price. We've got to see him get out there and play some footy. I can see him. Do you remember when Chris Yarran moved to half back? I see some similarities. They both had a few issues in finding their best football for different reasons, but amazing talent. Both went to half back, and we saw Yarran put together an amazing season. So how else could we improve this team? So obviously that 130, we could allow you to just go Himmelberg up to James Sicily, who I think is a touch more than Stewart. Yeah, so that could allow you to do that. But I'm probably more inclined to maybe just beef up around these last few positions on me back line. So that gives me 254. And Jimby's not a lock either, but does sound like an early debut is on the cards. He's in a struggling team. So I don't know if we've got anyone really that needs to be looked at just above the 250 mark. So if we scroll down, see what we've got here to work with. Toby McLean's probably another guy that's food for thought. But yeah, look, there's probably not much. I think Caulfield will probably play. He's averaged 80 before. And then you've got Goda. What can Francis do when he comes back? So yeah, it's an interesting one. I mean, in theory, you could beef it up in a manner of yeah, you could probably go Francis and then let's say we'll fall just short of McKenna there, won't we? I mean, let's just say if McKenna was there, you could definitely do that. Yeah, I think that Adelaide fella will play, but just for the sake of showing you what I mean, oh fuck's sake, my mouse has gone nuts. You could really beef up that back line, which was before 3 pretty inexperienced guys, to now having McKenna, who we know can run and carry the ball, should get opportunities to come to the club for a reason. Jimby or Chesser, 2 first-round picks, and Goda, who, like I've said, I'm a massive, massive fan. So your team could look like that as well. All of a sudden, that back line that was originally Stewart, Dacos, Clark, and then dropped away to rookies with Goda in there at times, looked pretty light on. It now looks a bit stronger. Your forward line isn't as beefed up, but Thomas could come out and average 90. So, yeah, it's just a matter of if you want Butters or if you want Cunnington. I'm pretty happy with the midfield, pretty happy with the ruck department. If I really wanted to, just get back a little bit more coin, I could always go Marshall down to Cameron, find a little bit more cash that way. So, yeah, they're probably just a few ways that I'm throwing the magnets around on the board at the moment in terms of selecting my team. It'll change plenty over the next coming months. Let me tell you, it definitely will. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it is at the moment. I try to not get too bogged down in how my team's looking at the moment, even though it's hard, because we're all crazy in SuperCoach. Sometimes, you just can't sleep properly if you're not happy with your full team. Maybe I should see someone about that. But at the moment, pretty happy with it, keeping it relatively chill. I'll probably just look at it when I need to. For now, probably just going to watch plenty of tennis throughout the rest of the week. But yeah, would love to hear your thoughts on my side. A few players that you're considering, or even a few players that maybe I didn't even mention. You're like, Shorty, you've got to talk about him. Let me know. If you've got any smoky rookie options or anything like that, I'd love to hear a comment from you. Always good to hear from you guys out there. So I'll talk to you soon. Cheers.